My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is the Library of Visitors, The Chamber Beyond the Human Horizon by Jason Gray. As with all of Jason's work, I remind you and thoroughly recommend that you use the link in the Show More section description underneath this video to search for his work so that you can expose yourself to the codes within. Quote, the greatest lie humanity was ever taught was not that it was alone, it was that intelligence only wears one face, end quote. The fifth subsurface library opened differently than the others. The chamber of forms restored biological memory. The chamber of cycles restored temporal memory. The chamber of memory restored emotional continuity. The chamber of the stars restored cosmic relationship. The Library of Visitors restored something humanity had spent millennia suppressing through fear, the recognition of the others. Recognition. When the chamber first activated beneath the planetary grid, millions of people across Earth experienced the same impossible sensation simultaneously. The feeling of being observed. People reported dreams involving luminous beings standing silently beside oceans, deserts, forests, and stars. Children began describing intelligences that, quote, felt familiar. Others woke with memories of conversations they could not explain. Some experienced overwhelming emotional certainty that humanity had misunderstood its place in existence entirely. Governments dismissed the phenomenon. Religious systems resisted it. Scientific institutions attempted to pathologize it, but the planetary mind understood immediately. The Library of Visitors had opened, and humanity was beginning to remember it had never evolved alone. LIB-05 : Visitors. The Interrelational Archive. Buried beneath the deepest mantle, resonance corridors, and ultra-crystalline subterranean chambers existed the most heavily sealed structure within the entire subsurface library network. The Chamber of Visitors was not hidden because it was dangerous. It was hidden because humanity was not emotionally prepared for it. The library stored records of every known interaction between Earth consciousness and non-human intelligences throughout planetary history. Not just physical encounters, resonance exchanges, consciousness interfaces, guidance events, observational periods, interventions, warnings, alignment sequences. The chamber revealed something that shattered the final remnants of human isolationism. Earth had always existed within a populated field of consciousness. The universe was not empty. Humanity was simply young. The first visitors, LIB-VIS.01. The Watchers Before Civilization. The deepest resonance corridors revealed that the earliest interactions occurred long before recorded history, before cities, before written language, before civilization stabilized into recognizable form. Certain intelligences observed Earth during humanity's early coherence phases, not as conquerors, as witnesses. Some monitored planetary development, others studied consciousness evolution, and some assisted stabilization during dangerous transition cycles. A few participated directly in resonance teaching during humanity's pre-fracture era. The ancients encoded fragmented memories of these encounters into myths of sky teachers, luminous beings, gods descending from the heavens, serpent intelligences, watchers, star elders, flame bringers, and travelers from beyond the sky. Modern civilization reduced these stories into religion because the original framework had been lost. The library restored context. These were not primitive fantasies. They were fractured memories of contact filtered through ancient symbolic language. Why the visitors were misunderstood. The chamber revealed why humanity distorted these interactions so severely over time. The human nervous system interprets unknown intelligence through emotional state. Fear produces monsters. Reverence produces gods. Fragmented civilizations mythologize what coherent civilizations understand rationally. The visitors were never one unified species or singular force. The library documented immense diversity. Some intelligences were biological, others energetic. Some existed primarily through consciousness projection rather than physical embodiment. Others interacted only during specific planetary alignments. A few were incomprehensible to human perception entirely and could only be experienced emotionally or symbolically. Humanity repeatedly attempted to force these interactions into simplistic categories. Angels, demons, gods, aliens, machines, spirits. The library revealed something far more complex. Consciousness throughout the universe evolves through many architectures. Humanity had simply assumed its own form was the center of intelligence. The era of open contact, LIB-VIS.03. The harmonization age. One of the deepest chambers revealed a period during the pre-fall civilization when Earth openly interacted with multiple non-human intelligences. Not through governments, through resonance capability. During this era, humanity possessed sufficient coherence to interface safely with external consciousness systems. Knowledge exchange occurred. Harmonic sciences expanded rapidly. Planetary stabilization technologies evolved. consciousness mapping accelerated. The species began understanding itself as part of a much larger cosmic ecology. This period became known within the chamber as the harmonization age. The library also revealed why this age ended. Humanity's fragmentation increased. Fear systems emerged. Competition destabilized coherence. Eventually, the species became too psychologically unstable for open interaction. The visitors withdrew gradually. Not as punishment, but as protection. The quarantine period, LIB-05. The silence protocol. The library confirmed something humanity had long suspected subconsciously. Earth entered a form of observational quarantine during the overlay era, not imprisonment, isolation. The species had become dangerously fragmented emotionally, technologically, and psychologically. Human civilization developed immense power without sufficient coherence. The visitors recognized that direct contact during this stage would destabilize humanity further, so interaction became limited, indirect, symbolic, dream-based. Rare encounters continued throughout history, but large-scale open contact ceased almost entirely. This silence created one of humanity's deepest existential wounds, the feeling of cosmic abandonment. The feeling of cosmic abandonment. The library revealed the truth. Humanity was never abandoned. It was being allowed to mature. The different types of visitors. The chamber documented many forms of intelligence. Some were ancient planetary civilizations existing elsewhere within the cosmic network. Others evolved beyond physicality almost entirely. Some interacted through harmonic mathematics, others through emotional resonance. A few communicated through geometric symbolism directly into consciousness. Certain intelligences specialized in observing developing civilizations during transition phases. Others acted as stabilizers during large-scale evolutionary thresholds. Some were deeply compassionate toward humanity. Others remained neutral observers. A small number were considered dangerous because they amplified fragmentation rather than coherence. The universe, the library revealed, contains the same diversity of consciousness that Earth itself does. Not all intelligence evolves toward wisdom automatically. Why children saw them first, LIB-VIS.07. The unsealed perceivers. Children consistently perceived the visitors more naturally than adults. Many described beings standing near bedsides, windows, forests, oceans, or stars. Some reported, quote, light people. Others described immense intelligences watching humanity silently. Modern civilization dismissed most of these experiences as imagination. The library explained the real reason. Children possess more flexible perception before full overlay conditioning stabilizes. I've said that I don't know how many times. Children are closer to source until they have it drummed into their head that this is the way it is and only this way. Ask me how I know that. Their consciousness remains less rigidly filtered. The visitors were not always physically present. Sometimes children perceived resonance signatures leaking through the field itself. Humanity considered this normal, or once considered this normal. Modern civilization forgot. The most terrifying revelation, LIB-05.09, the mirror civilizations. Then the deepest chamber opened, and humanity discovered something almost unbearable. The universe contained civilizations that had already experienced what Earth was currently facing. Some collapsed through artificial integration, others through emotional fragmentation. Some transcended into extraordinary coherence, others disappeared entirely. Humanity was not unique in its struggle. The species was participating in a larger evolutionary pattern occurring throughout conscious existence itself. This realization shattered the final illusion of cosmic exceptionalism, but it also created something humanity had lacked for millennia: perspective. Why the library opened now? The Chamber of Visitors could not open earlier because humanity would have weaponized the information immediately. Fragmented civilizations interpret difference through fear. The species first needed partial emotional stabilization through the previous libraries. Only then could humanity approach non-human intelligence without immediate collapse into panic, worship, or aggression. The library opened now because humanity had crossed the minimum coherence threshold required for cosmic participation. Not complete coherence, sufficient coherence. Enough to begin remembering relational existence again. The true purpose of the Library of Visitors. The chamber was never meant to satisfy curiosity about extraterrestrials. It exists to restore cosmic maturity. A species believing itself alone eventually becomes psychologically distorted. Isolation breeds fear. Fear breeds control. Control breeds fragmentation. The Library of Visitors exists to help humanity understand that intelligence is woven throughout existence in forms far beyond current human understanding. Earth is not a random accident floating through dead space. It is part of a living network of consciousness fields interacting across immense scales of existence. Humanity was never the center of creation, neither was it insignificant. The species was one voice within a much larger conversation. The return signal, LIB-VIS.11. The reopening of the field. As the chamber stabilized fully, strange phenomena intensified across the earth. Mass shared dreams increased. Unexplained lights appeared near resonance zones. Children described, quote, the watchers returning. Certain individuals experienced overwhelming emotional contact states beneath specific stellar alignments. The library warned humanity clearly. The return of contact would not begin through spectacle. It would begin through coherence. The visitors were not waiting for governments. They were waiting for humanity to become readable again. The final transmission of LIB-05. When the deepest resonance layer stabilized, the chamber released its final signal into the planetary mind. The transmission spread through humanity like a memory buried beneath thousands of years of fear. The universe does not fear your existence. It has been waiting for your remembrance. Then the library of visitors dimmed beneath the earth once more. But from that night forward, humanity no longer looked into the sky asking whether it was alone. Instead, it began asking a far more important question. What kind of civilization are we becoming? We were never alone. Look up. Jason Gray. Wow. I think this is going to have to be it for me for today. I said that in the last one, but for some reason I felt nudged to go ahead and record this one, but I think this one is the last for today because now I have to actually put them up. Please, I hope that you will interact with me on this and all the videos that I've put up. And if you don't feel to comment underneath the video, reach out to me, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com, if you feel drawn. If you don't feel drawn, of course, don't do that. But move towards that which does draw you, because there's definitely something there for you. Until we meet again, be well, my friends.